Hi there. Today I'm going to be doing another review slash overview of a PC game. This is Gone Home, released in 2013 by the Fulbright Company. This is another indie title. This was very well received by the critics. It received a GameRankings.com average score of 87.63%. IGN.com gave it a 9.5 out of 10. And the Metacritic average score was about 86 as well. So this was pretty critically acclaimed and fairly well received. This is kind of an interesting title. The control scheme and the graphics are very much like a first-person shooter game, but there is no shooting whatsoever. It's a decidedly more mundane setting. It takes place completely within this large house, kind of a mansion. And there is no gunplay or combat whatsoever. But you've got your typical WASD controls. You look around with the mouse, and you can zoom in with the right click, and you can interact with objects with the left click. So I'm just going to be taking a little walk around the house here and showing you some of the ways that you can interact with things. And I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, so I won't be going into that room there, which isn't meant to be accessible until later on. I have played through this. I'm just sort of walking through the house again afterwards. But yeah, you can pretty much interact with anything you want. I can flush the toilet here. I can open and close the cabinets. I can grab things and look them over. I can grab things and put them down in other places. It's just kind of an insane amount of detail, but there are interesting things to be found. This game sort of plays a lot like an old adventure title. Whoops, this is something I missed on the first playthrough. Yeah, it sort of feels like an old point-and-click adventure game, kind of like Myst or Seventh Guest or something. It has kind of an ominous feeling, like you get the impression that it's going to be kind of a horror game. The story is that you get home from studying abroad and your family is nowhere to be found. They were supposed to be here and the house is just deserted, pretty much. And here is the family. The protagonist is the young lady standing in the back there. She has a younger sister, that's her mother, and that's her father. One of the great things about this game is that it does have a lot of sort of 90s nostalgia. You know, you find VHS tapes and old answering machines, all of which you can interact with. You find notes everywhere. In fact, that's how the story is told in this game. You have a silent protagonist, and you find things out about people and their relationships with other characters simply through letters and journal entries, etc. There's someone's obituary. You can examine most of the items in 3D, like so. Here's a postcard that the protagonist sent from Paris. Here we have the father's office. The library or study. These are not individual books, they're just kind of window dressing. And of course there's a huge storm going on, which kind of adds to the atmosphere. And any light or appliance you can turn on or off. This game made me kind of tense because it's kind of lonely, so I went ahead and turned all the lights on. Oh, here's a hidden bottle of whiskey or something that I missed. We have a smoke detector with the light blinking. Just little things like that add to the ambiance. It feels kind of creepy, like, you know, something horrible happened. There's a cassette, and you can put that in the player. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to risk copyright infringement. There's a TV that's warning about a storm. There's a empty pizza box complete with grease stains. Just all kinds of detail. It doesn't all add to the story or the game itself, but it's still interesting. You can crouch just like in other first-person games. And you see evidence of someone making a pillow fort. You're finding relics from your childhood throughout.
Residents are strongly urged to stay indoors and secure all windows and doors. Flood conditions are expected at lower elevations.
Find crumpled notes. It's just kind of cool and kind of different that you can do so much. And I really appreciate the level of detail that's gone into this. This game does have pretty good graphics overall. I mean, if you examine that, you see that there are like paint samples in there. Let's just take a peek upstairs. That's where all the bedrooms are. This is your younger sister's room. Find nail polish and brochures from colleges. There's what appears to be a Super Nintendo game. Love it. I think this is meant to take place in the 90s or maybe early 2000s. Here's a bathroom. That's kind of an ominous detail. It looks like maybe blood in the bathtub. But then you find this bottle of hair color, complete with directions that you can actually read. This is the parents' bedroom. Another postcard. I did some of this, but the drawers were already ransacked when I came in here for the first time. Oops, don't want to spoil anything. Sorry about that. I will put a warning in the description that there are some spoilers. So you have a silent protagonist character that doesn't say anything, but some personality does emerge, like through that reaction there. Ugh. She finds a book about like sexual relationships in her parents' bathroom. It's kind of funny. I will go ahead and stay out of there. But yeah, there's just a lot to explore and a lot to find in this game. Not sure what that is. Oh, that's a heat register. Okay. This is an old house after all. But anyway, people were saying this was Game of the Year material when this came out. And there are some people saying that this is a better game than, say, The Last of Us. I'm not sure if I agree with that. My main problem with that assessment is that once you played it, you pretty much know everything. I mean, I beat this in one sitting in about 3 to 4 hours, so it's not very long. And once you have played it, you will come across some new things, as I did, things that are hidden behind furniture. But you already know the story, and you know where the keys and the secret panels are and everything. So it is theoretically possible, once you played this, to get through it in a matter of minutes rather than hours. But of course you miss certain things. Like, for example, in the study, there was a box of the same book because your father was an author and he wasn't a very successful one. So, just little things like that that come out are really interesting. I like the atmosphere of this game and the graphics and the fact that it's something a little different. It's not your typical adventure game. It's set in a completely real-world, mundane setting and still manages to be pretty cool. But there's not a lot of replay value to it. I got this during the Steam summer sale for about $5, maybe less than that, and for that price I think it's well worth it. But for the original asking price of $19.95, I'd be a little miffed at the, how short the game is. So anyway, this is Gone Home on the PC. Definitely worth a look if you're into this kind of thing. Thank you very much for watching.